Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
She was the most photographed, most loved and talked about, spied upon, praised, criticised, popular woman on the planet. All over the globe and in every moment of her long life, people have wanted to watch her through a peephole, wanting to discover new things to understand her, to answer the question, who was Queen Elizabeth II in reality? Well, someone who was granted a window into her life and gave us some of the most well-loved photographs of the late monarch is photography Chris Levine. He joins us now. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, guys.
Chris, I find this fascinating. I mean, I know there's a new documentary, Portrait of a Queen, that tells the story of the Queen through all the portraits that were done of her. What is it like in coming in front of the Queen like this? Does she have 1,000 people around her? Are you nervous? How does it go?
Yeah, well, I was quite blasé about it because it was in the diary for about 3 years, but in the week leading up to it, I did start to get quite nervous, and I got a call to say, what would I like Her Majesty to wear? So when she actually arrived, at the moment, been in the diary 3 years, when she arrived wearing the dress that I'd been looking at a couple of days previously with the one-liner pearls that I'd selected, it was quite surreal. And she could see, I think, that I was a little bit nervous.
Wow. Well, naturally she would, because you've dressed her up. I don't think anyone else would do that.
Well, also is that she came into the yellow drawing room where she has most of her portraits taken. And usually there'd be an easel in the corner, but I was working with light. I mean, I had incense going. I had a light modulator. I wanted to create a real sense of calm in the room for me to do the portrait, so I could see her looking around and kind of thinking, it's like the TARDIS in Doctor Who, all this technology. Right?
And who's this weirdo?
But I imagine the Queen wouldn't be an incense kind of girl. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, but, she really got into it. In fact, she granted me a second sitting. That was never on the schedule. And I had 2 private audiences with her after that to show the work in progress. So I think she took a real interest in the project.
Does she have an entourage of about 100 people? Sometimes when we meet huge celebrities, we've never obviously met someone the calibre of the Queen, but it's the people around that make your life hard.
Well, this was in her home. This is in Buckingham Palace, and so it's really just Angela Kelly and her private secretary and my team. So no, it was quite an intimate experience.
And did you make little chitty chat? Do you make small talk? I mean, she's the Queen of small talk, but what do you say as you're trying to get the portrait?
Yeah, well, it's on the first sitting. It was quite, it was quite awkward in a way because I think she was quite unfamiliar with the technology, and I was a bit kind of awestruck. And George Bush was staying there. Security had never been tighter. I don't think it really was the day to have her portrait taken. But the second sitting, it was really light, and it was really nice. Chris, she'd obviously been given a portfolio of work. She knew where I was coming from, that I like to experiment with light, and it was much more relaxed. And actually, all the magic happened in that second sitting.
And how many shots did you take?
Well, we had a camera that we designed especially for the shoot, because I shot this in 3D. So the pieces in the National Portrait Gallery, they're light boxes in 3 dimensions. So it was a special camera system, and at each pass, it took 200 images from left to right to create the different views. And we shot about 10,000 in total.
Wow.
Wow. So how long was the session altogether?
I had 2 sittings, so they were both about an hour and a half, and then 2 private audiences with her to show the work in progress.
Wow.
Gee, she must have been very patient, because Jonesy, whenever you have a photo, you take one take, you say, that'll do.
Well, they always go, okay, can we do one more? You go, well, come on, you got it. What's the matter with you?
Yes, was she patient personified?
Well, she was, and my assistant Nina said to her, because one of the setups I had was like, Nina said, it's like having your passport photograph taken, ma'am. And she said, one doesn't need a passport.
when your head's on the step. It's a good thing you did it like back then and not recently, because the small talk, you wouldn't be able to talk about the family in any way.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, it's a different era now. We always knew when she passed it was going to be the beginning of a whole new chapter, and isn't it just?
And when you're taking her portrait, I know you're trying to capture something of her as a person. How do you go about that as opposed to just pointing your iPhone at her and taking a click?
Well, it was at the time I was getting into meditation, and I was really trying to create a sense of stillness in the work. So I was very conscious of Her Majesty's breathing. So as the camera took a pass, I was trying to time it with her breathing cycle, and I had her looking in the distance at an ultraviolet cross that I'd made. She's head of the Church of England. I thought she needs to fix her eye while the camera moves. And, with the incense burning, the light sculpture, the subdued lighting, I think she took a moment of rest. I mean, likeness of being with her eyes closed was when I asked her to rest in between shots. And that was just a moment of magic.
It's a beautiful portrait. I'm looking at it now of the Queen with her eyes closed.
It's like you're pitching woo.
Or maybe not.
Chris is not saying anything further about that. Well,
it's fascinating,
I think
Chris.
it's just amazing. Portrait of a Queen comes to cinemas around Australia on March 18. Chris Levine, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.